Cyber extortion. Just hearing those words is enough to send a shiver down anyone's spine. But what if I told you that this terrifying trend is more common and more insidious than you might think? Today, we're peeling back the layers to reveal the untold truth behind cyber extortion. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be rethinking how you protect yourself online. This is Cyber Made Simple. Let's dive right in. So, what comes to mind when you hear cyber extortion? For most people, it's that classic image of a hacker taking control of your computer, encrypting your files, and demanding a ransom to give them back. And yes, that's a big part of it. Ransomware has been making headlines for years. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. Cyber extortion is evolving, and it's targeting everyone, from giant corporations to everyday internet users like you and me. Let's kick things off with a scenario that's becoming disturbingly common. Imagine you're checking your email, and suddenly there's a message claiming that a hacker has taken control of your webcam. They threaten to release embarrassing footage of you unless you pay up, usually in untraceable cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. Panic sets in, right? But here's the thing. There's often no hack, no footage, and no real danger. This is a form of cyber extortion known as sextortion, and it plays on fear. The mere suggestion that someone could have compromising footage of you is enough to make many people hand over the money, no questions asked. Now let's zoom out a bit. Cyber extortion isn't new. In fact, it's just a high-tech version of something as old as time, blackmail. But the digital age has given extortionists new tools, making it easier than ever to target people and businesses alike. All they need is your email address or social media profile, and they can launch their attacks from halfway across the world, often with little risk of getting caught. You might be wondering, how do these criminals even get my information? Well, it's not magic, it's data breaches. You've probably heard about some of the big ones, like the Yahoo breach that compromised billions of accounts, or the more recent LinkedIn breach. When these breaches happen, your personal data, email addresses, passwords, and more can end up for sale on the dark web, where cybercriminals buy and sell it like it's nothing. And that's where your trouble begins. Let's talk about another form of cyber extortion that's been wreaking havoc, ransomware. You might be familiar with this one too. It's a type of malware that locks you out of your files, or even your entire system, until you pay a ransom. But here's the kicker. Even if you pay, there's no guarantee you'll get your files back. In fact, paying the ransom only encourages these criminals to keep doing what they're doing. It's like feeding a stray cat. It just keeps coming back. The thing with ransomware is that it's not just individuals who are targeted. Businesses, big and small, are prime targets because they have more to lose. Imagine running a small business and suddenly losing access to all your customer data, your financial records, everything. That's a nightmare scenario, and it's why so many businesses choose to pay the ransom. But there's a better way to protect yourself, and we'll get to that in a bit. Now, not all cyber extortion is about getting money out of you directly. Sometimes it's about causing chaos, destroying reputations, or even settling personal vendettas. This is where DDoS extortion comes into play. DDoS stands for Distributed Denial of Service, and it's a type of attack that overwhelms a website or online service with traffic until it crashes. Extortionists will threaten to launch a DDoS attack on a company's website unless they're paid off. For businesses that rely on their online presence, think e-commerce sites, financial institutions, and even healthcare providers, the threat of being taken offline is terrifying. And that's exactly what the extortionists are counting on. All right, so now you're probably wondering, how can I protect myself from these kinds of attacks? Great question, and the good news is, there are several steps you can take. First and foremost, don't panic if you receive a threatening email. Remember, many of these extortion attempts are just bluffs. Cybercriminals are playing a numbers game, hoping that out of the thousands of emails they send, a few people will take the bait. If you do receive a ransom demand, the best advice is not to pay. Paying only fuels the cycle and encourages these criminals to keep doing what they're doing. Let's talk about some practical steps you can take to safeguard yourself. Keeping your software up to date is crucial. I know, those update notifications can be annoying, but they're there for a reason. Software updates often include security patches that protect against the latest threats, including ransomware. And while we're on the topic, make sure you're using reputable antivirus and anti-malware software. It's an extra layer of protection that can stop an attack before it starts. Now, here's something that might sound a bit old school, but it's incredibly effective. Back up your data regularly. If a ransomware attack does manage to encrypt your files, having a backup can save you from paying a ransom. It's a simple step, but it can make all the difference. For businesses, the stakes are even higher. A robust cybersecurity strategy is essential, including employee training, regular security audits, and a strong incident response plan. Remember, it's not a matter of if a cyber extortion attempt will happen, but when. But what about your personal data? How can you keep it out of the hands of cybercriminals? First, be cautious about where you share your information. That quiz on social media might seem fun, but it could be a ploy to get your personal details. And always use strong, unique passwords for your online accounts. A password manager can help you keep track of them without pulling your hair out. Let's wrap this up with some final thoughts. Cyber extortion is scary, but it doesn't have to be. By understanding how these criminals operate and taking some basic precautions, you can protect yourself and your data. Remember, the goal of these extortionists is to make you feel helpless, but knowledge is power. The more you know, the less vulnerable you are. Thanks for sticking with us. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hey, we'd love to hear from you. Have you or someone you know been targeted by cyber extortion? Drop a comment below with your story and how you handled it. We're all in this together, and your experience could help someone else stay safe. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and as always, stay safe out there.